we basically have 4 values, and I'll go through them very quickly. The first one is consumer centricity, and that's an obvious one. If you're not maniacally obsessed with consumers, you shouldn't be in the CPG business. But the big thing is that a lot of companies say they are consumer centric, and then you provoke them and you ask them, so what do you do that is consumer centric? And you will be hard pressed to actually find something that actually lives on a day-to-day basis from a consumer-centric perspective. I think Amazon does it very well, and I think we actually have found an interesting way as well. So first off, anybody who presents to me needs to start with, what did you learn from a consumer in the last 5 days? And that is mandatory. Otherwise, the meeting doesn't continue and the meeting doesn't happen. And we actually encourage everybody in the organization to spend at least 1 day a week with consumers, whether it's on a shopping trip, whether it's in a qualitative group, whether it's talking to people in a bar. But we encourage people really to go out there on a continuous basis.
Is that more challenging for you now, given the environment we're in, or you can do some of that online? Or
a little bit. There's absolutely a lot that you can do online with social listening and a little bit of reach out as well. But in Canada, cannabis is considered a mandatory business, so we can actually still go to dispensaries. We can visit them. So we actually have a lot of access to those store managers still.
I knew I loved Canada.
Yeah. The second value or principle that we have is strategy drives everything. Ties back to what a CEO needs to do in setting the strategy, and we communicate this very openly. Here's where we are. This is where we need to be, and we allow people to make decisions. And there's 2 types of decisions: type 1 and type 2. Type 1 decision is, I as an individual, I know exactly what the strategy is, and I know that the decision that I'm taking is the right one, and I'm not going to commit to such an amount of budget that I cannot turn back my decision. Those decisions, take them, run with them. Don't ask for approvals. And then there's a type 2 decision, which is identical to decision number 1, which basically is more difficult to revert back to the original position. For those, ask feedback from your boss. Maybe come all the way to me to ask for permission. But we encourage people to really make decisions to move the needle, as long as they understand the strategy.
But sometimes you have to pivot.
Exactly, and to be very honest, I'm a big believer that the people who are closest to the problem or the opportunity, the ones that are best placed to make the decision. A lot of the times people come to me, for example, if one of my PhDs comes to me and says, I have made an optimization to the emulsion, and it explains me what the chemistry is behind it, I don't understand it anyway. So make the decision, move, and if you want, inform me at a later stage. The third principle that we have is we are a professional sports team that wins championships. And that's very important. Obviously, I'm a big fan of engagement and friendship at the office, but what I want is that people know that they have your back like on a sports team. Everybody knows the role that they're playing. Everybody knows how to perform in that role to perfection, but we're here to win championships. And so we're extremely competitive. And the final
that
one
helps
is
with the hiring decision too. I mean, in terms of if you look at an organization as a sports team, sometimes you got to let people go under the not always under the most ideal circumstances. Yeah,
exactly. But also what it means that is you put a score up there for everybody to know. We publish our net revenue number all over the organization, how far we are from target, but we also rank and publish our employees. Everybody knows every time where they are in terms of appreciation. It's tough, but it's something that I think is very valuable. And then the final one is about an owner mindset, is spend your money as if it's your own on everything. Very simple principle, but it's so powerful. You turn off the lights when you leave a room. I mean, it's as simple as it gets. I've stolen a lot of these with pride from other organizations. The consumer centricity and the type 1 and type 2 decisions is basically stolen from Amazon. The strategy drives everything is bluntly stolen from Netflix. So there's a lot of inspiration around us. But what
Absolutely.
is very important, and I cannot underline this enough, is you gotta personally believe in those principles as a CEO, as a management team, and making sure that people in the organization believe in those principles as well. Because otherwise, they're just a poster on a wall and nobody cares. And there's so many, I mean, I'm sure you've all visited so many companies where there's these beautiful slogans and principles against the wall. Ask anybody in the company to tell them back to you, and they won't be able to.